If you've spent any time around modern digital children's worship content, you know it is relentless. You're hit with a dizzying barrage of kinetic energy and repetitive lyrics demanding constant physical action. Songs about walking with Jesus, dancing, and doing it every day, every night. These two sides represent a significant cognitive gap. On the left, we have theological concepts like divine omnipotence and eternal existence, ideas that challenge adult scholars. On the right, we have a toddler's cognitive reality, governed by primary colors and simple shapes. Fitting infinite abstract concepts into this smaller worldview requires a specific kind of translation. Abstract philosophy and complex language often fail with young children. Their primary mode of understanding the world is physical movement, using their bodies to map out the environment before they can map out ideas. To introduce an invisible, abstract God to a child, educators often bypass high-level vocabulary entirely. They begin with physical action as the primary language of instruction. These repetitive loops of dancing and jumping function as a developmental bridge, using physical play to provide the first contact point for complex theology. This first stage, the kinetic foundation, relies on lyrics focused on walking with Jesus and dancing in every day. These songs take a spiritual entity and anchor it to the routines a toddler already performs. A 3-year-old might not grasp the concept of a deity, but they understand the physical act of walking and skipping. As this diagram shows, physical repetition generates a sense of familiarity. By repeating these motions, the child's brain builds a connection to the concept of God, long before they have the capacity for intellectual understanding. Repeating the word every day frames faith as a constant physical playmate. This phrasing moves the concept away from a Sunday obligation and into the daily environment. By establishing this kinetic foundation, the media lowers the barrier to entry, turning a vast concept into an approachable, familiar physical habit. Once the physical habit is established, the content transitions into emotional internalization. The energy shifts, moving towards phrases like joy in my heart and Jesus loves me. This diagram highlights the shift in focus, moving from the external physical environment into the child's internal psychological space. Constant emotional affirmations function as a psychological anchor, building a secure attachment to the figure established during the physical phase. This stage translates the high energy of the dancing phase into a calm, secure emotional bond. Making the deity feel emotionally safe internalizes the relationship, priming the child's brain for the final stage of belief. This leads to the abstract leap. The lyrics now introduce massive concepts of scale, like what a mighty God we serve, and heaven and earth. The music's structure uses a strategic delay. Concepts of cosmic scale and omnipotence are held back until the end of the song sequence. This 3-tiered pyramid shows how the concept of an omnipotent creator depends on earlier stages. The child accepts this theology because the groundwork is already in place. The repetitive lyrics serve as necessary support structures, carrying theological weight otherwise too complex to process. This progression functions as a cognitive ladder, scaling from simple physical reality up to theological abstraction. Looking at the broader impact of these worship videos reveals how modern media influences early development. While adults may see this as repetitive noise, the structure suggests a sophisticated educational tool at work. This side-by-side view shows the combination of ancient religious traditions and the relentless looping rhythms of modern digital algorithms. The relentless repetition of the everyday motif ensures that spirituality exists outside of a weekly event. It transforms a theological concept into an inescapable daily habit. By layering physical motion and emotional security, this media turns complex theology into a baseline human reflex. It aims to make belief as automatic as walking, dancing, or a beating heart.